Hello, everybody. Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest. Ryker,
Yo.
the rumors came true.
Yeah.
Probably the most extreme Raptors rumors of all the rumors came true. The Raptors traded DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green.
Yeah.
We also sent a first-round pick over there that's heavily protected.
Yep. Yeah, fans are in disbelief. It seems to me that a lot of them are on Team DeMar and more frustrated than happy or relieved that we got a superstar that is Kawhi. Now, of course, the last season kind of maybe changed the perspective, right? We didn't see him play. His attitude is sort of getting in the way, but I think it's unchallenged that Kawhi is a top talent in the league. Probably top 10, maybe top 5, right? So it's interesting, the rumors that are sort of swirling around this whole scene right now.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Just getting a top 5 player in the NBA. The Raptors, you can maybe make an argument for when we had Vince Carter, but I don't think we've ever had a top 5 guy on the roster. Yeah. And, history shows that if you want to win a championship, if you want to be a strong finals team, you need one of those top tier guys. So before we break down, was this the right move and, did we do DeMar dirty? What do you think the Raptors' expectations for this season are? Could we possibly get to the finals, compete with Golden State? Or, did we get worse somehow?
I would say finals would probably be imminent because if you think about it, all we really did was essentially a one-for-one trade. Now, I understand that Jakob Poeltl is gone, right? But if we shift Kawhi Leonard to the 4 and play JV at the 5 still, it's still a really good bench unit if you looked into it, right? So all we're doing is trading away DeMar, whose three-point shooting is still shaky and who's not amazing at defense, for a guy who's a proven LeBron stopper. Obviously, LeBron's not in the conference, but he's guarding the highest caliber player in the league, right? He's a good three-point shooter. He's a defensive player of the year, finals MVP. We can go through all the check marks. He's a better player all around than DeMar DeRozan, and Danny Green, a three-point shooter, which we need. So this makes the Raptors better. So if we have these two guys come over and play committed, this is an easy finals team. Championship, I don't know. It's that Golden State team is kind of on steroids. They're the Monstars of the league now, but it's certainly a team that should have an easy route to the finals.
Yeah. The surprising thing that I'm hearing from a lot, and maybe we might just be a little bit homer bias, whatnot, but people are saying that the Celtics are still better than the Raptors. We were the first seed last season. I know they're bringing back Kyrie, but Gordon Hayward's still hurt. He's just had another surgery.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's replacing Spurs.
But let's assume they were all healthy. Let's just quickly assume they were all healthy. If we match up Kyle with Kyrie, I mean, Kyrie has the slight advantage. OG with Jason Tatum, and then Gordon Hayward with Kawhi Leonard, and then it's left to the bench at that point. I still say we have the better bench. Right? So it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I personally, I think we're better than the Celtics. That might be a hot take, and it's definitely going to be close, but Kawhi, I think people are forgetting. Kawhi Leonard didn't play all this year. He is a top 5 player in the NBA, unquestionably, when healthy. And he was, shooting for MVP. His defense, his offense, he takes over games, and, he's a former finals MVP. He performs in the playoffs, and there might be questions about how hard he's going to go and stuff. When you're out there on the court, people go 100% 24/7. You don't just, half play and all that. Even if he's not committed off the court and he's thinking about LA, when he's on the Raptors roster, if he does play and doesn't choose to sit out, he's going to play 100%.
Yeah.
Because he's got to redeem his value. He's got to make proof to the Lakers if that's his dream destination. That's where he's going.
Yeah.
So I think the Raptors are the clear favorites in the East, and the defense of OG Anunoby and Kawhi Leonard on the wings right there, added with Kyle Lowry's good point guard defense and Pascal Siakam.
Yeah,
that might be the best defense in the NBA, and I don't know if it's close.
Well, it's true, yeah. And what I see as a possible lineup would be Kyle, either Danny Green or DeLon, OG, Kawhi at the 4, and then JV, and then you have a fantastic backup bench, right? But we'll get into that in another podcast. What we should talk about now, we'll also talk about why DeMar DeRozan, what the heat is on. If this was really sort of a backstabbing against the franchise player or not, we'll talk about that in another podcast. That's a full other discussion. What I'd like to get into now, what's your take? Was this a good trade or a bad trade? And then after that, we'll get into all the rumors that's surrounding, will Kawhi play, will he not, all the confusion around what was even the point of bringing him on if he's going to stay on the bench. So first, good or bad?
Personally, at the start of when it first happened, I saw photoshops of DeMar in a Spurs jersey, and I was shook. I was rotted. We traded our, Mr. Toronto, the guy who had our back for such a long time, and emotionally, I'm still strung up on it. Mm-hmm. But if you just look at it basketball-wise, if you just look at the basketball side of things, we had a 2-year window with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. The Eastern Conference was improving significantly. The Celtics, even with Kawhi, they're going to be tough to beat. But, the roster, as previously constructed, it was going to be tough to actually,
to improve
take on the Celtics. And the Sixers. What? Pardon?
Just to improve, yes.
Yeah. So the Celtics are improving. The Sixers are improving. It looked like, and we would have stayed stagnant. Mm-hmm. We had a 2-year window, and it didn't look like we were getting to the finals. So instead, by trading DeMar, we cut that window in half. We have this one season to really go all out. Our ceiling has significantly improved. I think everyone can agree on that, and including Danny Green, which is another good pickup. Kawhi and Danny Green significantly improved this roster, and we can actually do something with this Raptors franchise that we've never done before. We weren't going to get with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. We reached our peak. We had the first seed last season. And we still got swept in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I think if you want to actually compete for a championship and not stay in that pit of mediocrity, because I guarantee you after 2 more years of getting bounced in the second round, we'd be trading DeMar for a player much worse than Kawhi. Yep. So I think cashing in at DeMar is top value right now. It sucks because, we're still riding a high of first seed. DeMar is a legend Toronto. He'll always be a legend Toronto. It bites right now, but winning heals all, and we didn't give up much of our future. We didn't give up OG or Siakam. So,
well, that's just the thing, and this is the reason that I think it was a good trade. I would have thought for sure it was a bad trade if we were getting rid of DeMar for a 1-year player and then also losing OG or Siakam, right? Because if Kawhi doesn't re-sign, which it's likely as of right now that he won't, right? Then we're losing a cornerstone player, so a current franchise player, and then also our futures, right? The guys that are certainly going to become the next best players on the team, and then also draft picks. So we're both cutting the limbs out of our developmental program and our current stardom, right? But what we effectively did was we only got rid of Jakob. We still have our core. So even if Kawhi leaves, right, or even if he doesn't play this entire season, it's still technically a win because we kept the core unit and we have cap space now. Right, so it's not necessarily what people who are huge fans of DeMar will want to say. I mean, we're certainly both fans of DeMar, but if Kawhi was to play, this team improves, right? And it also is we're in a position where even if we lose him next season, we aren't significantly worse because we're holding on to that core that continues to develop, right? So to me, it's just good, and it was good for the Spurs too. They're going to be a better team.
Yeah, the Spurs. I think it's a win-win for both sides. You mentioned Jakob Poeltl. I think he's going to be a great player in the NBA, but Jonas is only 25 years old, and I don't really see Jakob getting a chance to shine and show off. So if Jakob becomes, a superstar under the Spurs system, which is very likely because these European guys seem to thrive under Greg Popovich, I don't think he would have developed into that behind Jonas playing a backup center role.
I agree, and he'll thrive in the Pop system. Now, the biggest news, and this is what has everybody on edge, is we're hearing the reports. Mm-hmm. We're hearing that Kawhi is not interested at all in playing on the Raptors. We hear that he's disappointed that this trade went through. We even heard that and you can give the names after, we heard that he's willing to sit out an entire season if necessary. That's quote unquote. We have the press conference that's coming up on Friday. Rumors are saying now that he's warming up to the idea of Toronto. To me, it sounds like a big circus. What's your opinion on it? Do you think that Masai could be dumb enough to get a player on the Toronto Raptors, trade away the franchise, the face of the franchise, for a guy that's so uncertain and that seems so against this team? Do you think that could possibly happen?
I think people around the league know that Kawhi can't sit out another season. He would tank his value so much that maybe LA and these teams might not want him if he's out for 2 years with a fake injury or something. Because then he's just getting, people will question if he even likes basketball at that point. So there are some reports coming out that he might choose to sit out this whole season. But personally, I don't see that happening. I think that would just be a stupid play by Kawhi. because he may as well. He doesn't have a vendetta against the Toronto Raptors like he did against the San Antonio Spurs. We offered to trade him. If he doesn't play, he's not getting his $20 million he's owed this season. So I just don't see him sitting out a full year. Yeah. And now if he does, this year sucks. This trade was awful. It was horrendous. That's worst case scenario. And people that are in fear of that and are worried about that happening, yeah, that's the worst case scenario. This trade was awful if that's happening. But I don't see Masai making that deal if Kawhi refuses to play.
Yeah, no, to me it seems like hullabaloo. And you certainly made the reference that they had Kawhi's camp shut off, that nobody was allowed to be in contact with Kawhi while any of the trade talks were happening. But I just don't see that the intelligence that Masai Ujiri has in crafting this Toronto Raptors team over the past seasons, that he would trade away DeMar DeRozan to have so much uncertainty, to get a guy in return, to have him sit on the bench. They're either he knew that Kawhi didn't want to play and he still has a backup plan. Either he's going to, second trade him, or he has something that he's working on, or these reports are just being pulled out of thin air and there's not as much validity to them. Now, I'm not sure how it's going to unfold. Obviously, we'll get a better indication on Friday once the press conference happens. I just really don't see... I just don't think that it's as dramatic as what the reporters are breaking it out to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it might be true that he might not want to play for the Raptors, and that's perfectly fine. Paul George didn't want to play for OKC initially, but he still went, maybe not as vocally, but he wanted to play for the Lakers. Yeah. He demanded a trade to the Lakers. Yeah. There's no rumors that he was going to sit out. I think just because Kawhi sat out last season, people are overreacting that because he wants to be on the Lakers, he might consider sitting out again. Yeah. But yeah, I think until I see Kawhi sitting out, I'm not going to believe he's going to make that move. That's just my take on it. We'll keep you updated of more reports coming out, but until we hear from Kawhi, I'm not going to believe that report. No. So as of right now, I'm excited for Kawhi Leonard being on the Toronto Raptors.
Me as well.
Word. We know the fan base is split, and a lot of people are not feeling this trade, and realistically so. DeMar DeRozan was such a cornerstone. Everyone loved him. He built the franchise from the ground up. But if you just look at the basketball side of things, it makes sense with the Toronto Raptors. And you get the business side out of the way. You look at what happened with Isaiah Thomas. People were hating on the Celtics for basically all last summer, saying they're an unloyal, snaky franchise. And then now look at them, everyone's praising how they're business people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's totally true.
You got to make the right basketball move. And I credit Masai Ujiri for making the right basketball move.
Yeah. Yeah, so, anyways, listen, the fun stuff happens on Fridays, and I'm sure that there'll be more rumors before that.
Most definitely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Masai makes any more moves. But we want to know what you guys think of the Kawhi Leonard, DeMar DeRozan trade. Obviously, it sucks DeMar's gone, but we did get a top 5 NBA player. I think people are forgetting how good Kawhi Leonard is. And if you're forgetting, look at some highlight videos of him. I'm excited. Let us know if you're excited, disappointed. Follow the Instagram, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. We're going to keep you updated with all these Raptors news. It's crazy times being a Raptors fan.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Thanks for listening.